Good evening. This is Clive Williams on Love Talk. I want to welcome you back. I know that I reminded you last week that we'll be doing 6 to 7 on Saturday evenings. That's 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday evenings. So please, just call a friend. Tell a friend that we're on the air. We have some issues that we certainly want to talk about. We want to ventilate them. We want to look at them very carefully as it affects the black family. Let me just do some housekeeping and give you a little reminder that we want you to follow us on Instagram at Our World Media. Our World Media. If I didn't pronounce that right, let me spell it. OURWORLD Media. So that's on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on Our World Media, the number one. Our World Media, the number one. This is Love Talk, an extension of a show that started on radio many, many years ago. And I had requests from all over. People asking me, Clive, when are we going to talk more about love? And I had pretty much nothing planned until the Our World Media platform approached me and suggested that, yes, we should extend the conversation of Love Talk on this platform. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel on Our World Media 1 and share that with your friends and become part of this discussion. For now, we're working out ways that we can get you engaged. In the meantime, just please follow the show, write your comments. I'll talk to my producer during the break as to find out how you can get your comments to us real quick so we can respond to some of your concerns, your queries, your questions. I have, as usual, very interesting guests. And you might have wondered why for the first, this is maybe the fourth show, if I'm counting properly, we have the same people. Well, that's the answer to that is very simple. The platform that we are sharing with you is one that is committed to give you accurate information, as accurate as possible, but also a broad swath of information and empowerment that hopefully will help you to make your life better. And so the guests that we have are more than qualified. You see, it's not easy to find people who are on the same wavelength as we are. So as we work this out, I'm sure you'll be suggesting guests that we might have on Love Talk. In the meantime, Gail Lewis, Professor Gail Lewis, is going to be it. And Bernard Adolphus, our resident numerologist, are the people that we are going to be talking to on a regular basis. Of course, Annette Gordon will come in from time to time. And we are extending this invitation to you now. If you are a teacher, if you are a healthcare professional, if you are engaged in any profession that attempts in some way or other to dispense love, concern for our community, then we want you to be a part of this. Whatever role you play, mother, wife, please, daughter, if you believe that you can make a contribution to the information that we're sharing, we want to invite you to be a part of it. Let me sort of reach back and remind you of what our mission is. Our mission is really to reconstruct black love, life, and relationships. What exactly are we doing, reconstructing? Well, we feel, and I think Gail agrees with me, I think Bernard agrees with me, that a reconstruction is necessary where there has been a deconstruction, all right? So our lives have been deconstructed, our lives because we can go as far back as slavery because we still have the residual effects of that. But in more recent times, we've had a tremendous rate of incarceration among young black men and older black men. That has devastated our community. And even more recently, we have had the killings, the murders of young black men that have devastated our communities. This is all part of the deconstruction process. As a people, as a community, we've been hit hard. We've been hit hard by the existence of this coronavirus, which is a pandemic which affects the world, but affects us dramatically here. In the previous pandemic of 1918, the world, America lost 650,000 people to death. We're close to that now. We're somewhere around 630-something thousand people dying from coronavirus. Despite the fact that we have medical science that far outstrips the science that was available in 1918. So we ought to be doing better than that. But all these facts have really done a number on us as a people. It's devastated us. And the devastation is more evident in our communities of color than any other community. So when I implore you to participate in this discussion, it's not because I just want to have a discussion. I'm imploring you to participate because you have a vested interest in this for the sake of our children and our grandchildren. We must find a way to reconstruct the love for each other, our lives, and our relationships. So please join the conversation. Take it very seriously. I want to go to Gail, Professor Gail Lewis, and have her share her thoughts.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Good evening, and good evening to everyone listening tonight and watching on Roku. It's great to be here with you again. I know that part of our mission, if you will, is to talk about reconstructing Black love. Well, this week, I had a lot of feelers out, and they all pointed in one direction, it seemed. And it's not reconstructing, but more like, how do you start the construction? Two of my neighbors, wonderful women, smart, outgoing, beautiful. They can put outfits together that, they look great, and they are beautiful people to begin with. And they're both single, but ready to mingle. And one is bilingual and ready to mingle. Yeah. But nice, good women. And they both came to me this week separately with little chats about how does it happen? Where? There's just the metrics of finding someone. Where do you find someone? It used to be you go to church and you find a man in church. And then you go to the club or you go to the bar and you find a man there. Or you might go to the library or find a man in school or maybe at work. But where should we go to start constructing this Black love? And then when we do finally start constructing, they had a whole bunch of other questions about when to move to second or third or fourth base. Well, home.
I'm loving this.
But they started at really just the root of where, how does it happen, where does it happen, and what should they do? And I said to them, we have a resident relationship expert, and I will pose these questions. So they are yours, sir.
In my practice, my former practice, I'm retired. Let me state that clearly, folks. I no longer practice as a relationship therapist, but I will talk to groups. I'm happy to do that because this requires time, it requires dedication, and real concentration. right? Because your lives are that important. However, you know, it's our community, and Bernard, I'm talking about our black community. Gail mentioned the fact that, you know, it's either in church or where else, Gail? Where do black women have to go to the club?
The bar,
Right.
the club,
And you know,
the gym.
usually, you see, folks, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. These are the places that people send their representatives to. And what do I mean by that? When a guy or gal goes to the gym, first of all, you put on the apparel, right, for the gym. So you place yourself in it's a different role play, right? You are now ready for the gym. You want to look, even if you're not, you want to pretend like you're fit or trying to be fit. The persona that you project is a completely different one. Am I saying that you're being dishonest? No, I'm not. I'm simply saying that you put on, your representative is actually the one that's going to the gym. When you go to church, you display a certain degree of piety. There's a certain degree of solemnity. There's a certain behavior that is required in church that makes you, again, presenting somebody that you really are not.
You even dress modestly.
You even dress
for
modestly
church.
for church, right?
Unless you've come from the club.
So you're in the theater. Again, it's a theater, right? The club, of course, that's all glitter and glamour and so forth. And again, it's theater, because the first guy that approaches a girl in the club, that girl is going to say, well, when she gets the question, what's your phone number? Do you think you're going to get the right number? I think not. What's your address? You think you're going to get the right? It's okay. So let's back up a little bit. How do we really get to meet? And then you talk about online, you know, dating sites that are sort of structured and prearranged for, and your profile, you're going to put your best foot forward. There are people even on, you know, in social media, they put other people's pictures up that are representative of them.
Catfishing, absolutely.
They're catfishing, right? So people are always in theater mode when they're on the lookout. So I say back it up a bit, and I look back at my life, and folks, yeah, it's kind of many years ago, but you know what happened, what's happening today has already happened before, and it's going to happen again sometime in the future. You don't think that because you are younger that you're living in some different era where the rules change. The rules remain the same. The rules may be adjusted, shaped a little bit more. I'm saying to you, and the question I ask people who are looking, women, like the women you described, that are looking for a man, where have you been? Where have you gone? And like you said, they will say, well, we go to church. We go to maybe bingo. Well, that's for the older folks. We go to the club. And I'll say, wrong places. You want to go places where you see people in the raw. How many seminars do you attend? How many programs that are uplifting you attend? There are colleges all over the city that have programs that engage people.
There's continuing education at every
programs.
college. Yeah.
Now, think about it. You're a lady, obviously an attractive lady, and you want to meet a similarly attractive man who meets your needs. Wouldn't a place where you're learning something be the right place?
So a cooking class.
A cooking class.
A pottery
A
class.
pottery something where you are enhancing and uplifting the human spirit.
A Mandarin Chinese class.
Yeah. Where's our imagination? A yoga class. Look, men do that too. A meditation class. Let's depart from the norm, the traditional, right, of going to church, because there are too many shysters who know that's where you go, and that's where they go too. Okay? Now, something that really is not emphasized in our community enough. We watch sports, right? We watch basketball, we watch football, and women, for the most part, and ladies, those of you who love basketball and football, don't come at me now, don't tweet me, okay. Yes, women are interested in basketball and football. That's fine. But there are other sports. And guess what? The men that you might be looking to engage, of course, if you are looking for a healthy relationship, right, you want to find a healthy man, an active man, right, a man who's doing something. So why not look at the sports? Why not take a tennis lesson? Why not go? Why not look at some other sports where men are still active? Bicycling is a great sport. You meet a lot of men who want to stay active and stay fit in bicycling. What about golf? Would you believe that there's the mythology, for example, that golf is an expensive and that kind of sport. So, no. For example, in Brooklyn, there's Marine Park. That's a public course. It might appear not to be public, but it is a public course to which you are absolutely welcome. You meet some of the nicest people there. And if you're a woman and you're looking for a healthy, active male, then find where the men are playing their sports, where they're enjoying that pastime. There are men who are involved in board games.
Chess clubs.
Chess clubs.
Right?
Huh? Why aren't we broadening our imagination? Well, that would tell you that this is a man who is at least cerebral. He's thinking. Huh?
Right.
Why not get engaged in exercises like those rather than the old ones which don't work and where all the shysters and the people who are sending their representatives are going? So yes, I'm not saying this is easy, but I'm saying the opportunities are there for you. Broaden your horizon. Look elsewhere. And traditionally, other people take advantage of these events to go to.
Book signings. What about the Home Depot?
Hey,
Lowe's?
it's interesting you say that, right? Sometimes go shopping, go shopping, and your cart might bump another cart, and you have a conversation. But we certainly have to use our imagination a little more, ladies, and be prepared. Look, you can say that I want to meet someone, or even the guys can say I want to meet someone, but if you don't act on it, it's not making much sense. You got to have a strategy. And let me back up a little bit and say, devise a strategy based
How
on.
do you mean?
What I mean is, just like your life plan, you've got to have a plan. If you are really looking to meet another person and having a relationship, serious relationship, you got to have a plan. It can't be just something that you are hoping and wishing is going to happen. You write down that plan, describe the kind of person that you'd like to meet, and formulate a strategy to meet that kind of person.
You mean as far as taking classes or seeking sports?
Yes, yes. In other words, if you should develop a profile, you become a profiler, right? Develop a profile of the person that you'd like to meet. Of course, you got to give yourself some latitude. You can't be, he has to be tall, dark, and handsome. That's not a description. That's not a profile.
Right.
That's just a physical outline of somebody. But you want to say, I would like to meet an active person who is a thinker, who is kind, who is caring. All right, I like to, in sharing, in the lectures that I've shared with people, I share my own life. When I met my wife, I made sure we were dating, and this is an example that you can use, folks. As dating, and I made sure that every game, because as always an active sports guy, I'm a jock at heart, and physically too. So she attended the games that I played. She played games. I attended the games that she played. Guess what? We are really getting to know each, because you don't get to know somebody until you know somebody else who knows them.
Right.
You know, and by extension, you see how your potential partner interacts with other people. And she sees you, how you interact with other people. Guess what? What you're doing is building a relationship based on understanding, communication, trust. That's how you build a relationship. You don't build a relationship on the phone. It's impossible to build a lasting relationship on the phone. It's impossible to build lasting relationships. Hey, we're not saying that there aren't some very fortunate people who might meet someone online and they click. I will guarantee you that the statistics show that they are in the minority. You want to build a lasting, trusting, sound relationship with someone, they've got to see you in action, the real you. They get to know the real you, not your representative. And sports activities, social activities.
Local clubs.
Local clubs. You know,
The Elks Club, are they still
the
around?
Kiwanis,
Kiwanis,
the
yeah.
Lions Club. Become part of a community. And then you begin to meet people. So, ladies, the opportunities are there.
There's also my club. We have Toastmasters clubs, which are public speaking and leadership clubs, equal parts men and women.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there are local political clubs as well. There's a lot of people involved there too. Like you said, Kiwanis, all of the local service clubs.
There you go.
So there's some more ideas.
So, folks, are you still wondering where you can begin to meet that person? And by the way, let me just demystify something. There's no Mr. Right, okay? That he went wrong a long time ago. There is a potential male that you'll meet. He's not necessarily Mr. Right. He is a potential husband or lifetime partner that you can work things out with. You can negotiate a treaty to live together in peace and harmony. If you assume that there's a Mr. Right, then you're going to be expecting too much. All right? There is a person who you'll be attracted to, who will be attracted to you, who you will work out a working relationship with. But don't expect him to be a Mr. Right. He is going to be someone that you both will learn to understand each other and work out a relationship over time. Because I believe, and you know, I'm exposing pretty much my belief system. It might not be academic, but it's one that based on 50 years of marriage. I tell you this, every relationship is one that you make. Every good, worthwhile relationship is one that you make a decision to become a part of. And you abide by that decision. That is what ultimately becomes what is known as love.
Well, thank you.
Well, one of the things that I'm happy about is that the calls that I get from clients that I've had over the years, and their children grown up now, and so they would call and say, okay, Bernard, I just met this young man. This is his name. This is his birthday. Tell me what you think. And I would do an analysis, and I would show, okay, I'll value this. This can only work. This is like 60%. This will not work at 60%. It needs more than 60%. Then they want an explanation. When you meet someone, before you hold hand, you could tell if you're compatible or not. What brought us together? What is this connection between us? And another thing I'm happy about is that over the years, parents, I have a conversation late at night with parents trying to balance their kids' names. Sometimes we have to change the middle name to the first name to balance it out. And then to get feedbacks of, oh, Bernard, my daughter, I understand her now. We don't fight no more. We don't, because I understand her makeup. And I think that's what's important.
I think you need to sort of expand a little bit because when you say change the name, it makes a lot of people nervous. And why would I do that? Because I don't think many people understand the importance and power and impact of a name.
Yeah, because our name represents our personality and our mentality. You see? And so whatever letter is missing in your name, that's what you're missing mentally.
So let me ask you this, Bernard. I've met a number of people in my time. And in my practice, I used to come across some really strange names. So because of the need as a therapist to be curious, because that's a hallmark of a therapist, you've got to be inquisitive, curious. I'd say, where'd you get that name? Who gave you that name? And the response would be, my mom loved a certain wine, and my dad liked it also. So my name is Champagne. So okay, so that might sound silly, but it really happens. And so they get a name because their parents, not because there any research or any thought went into it. So when someone gets a name like that, how much of an impact does it have on their outcomes?
It has a great deal because it's the way we behave, what makes us tick. You see, let's say, for instance, a person that has too many BKs and T's in the name. They're master communicators, but they're too sensitive.
And BKs and T's would represent twos, right?
Communicate.
The number two.
Barack with the B, Bill Clinton. Twos are communicators.
But they're flawed.
By sensitivity.
By sensitivity.
So the name of the game is learn to control your feelings and your emotions. And if you learn to do that, life becomes much more easier for you because then you know that you have two ears, that something might go right through one and come through the other, what you're buying into. You see? And so because it's spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and your intuition. It's a balance of all of them. It doesn't work with 40% or 60%. You see, but if you understand what's missing, then you can put it in. Some of the women I speak with some of the time is that I say, listen, you have to learn to take the back seat. You can't be the lead all the time. You can't be in the front seat all the time. Because people consciously, when you have too many ones, want to be ahead, want to be up front. The back seat is not yours.
But isn't that also a cultural phenomenon, right? Where everybody wants to be first. Especially when you get involved in celebrity, right? Everybody wants to get the limelight. And now, is that a condition of ego, a condition of maybe the names that they bear? What is it that propels people to be that egotistical?
Well, the thing about it, again, it's image also. Image plays a great role in it. Because in today's world, it's what you drive, where you live, and what you're wearing that makes you, not what's in your head. You see, and the key to it is it's mentality. So we mentioned changing the name, the middle name to the first name to give more balance in the mentality. Because let's say, for instance, the person has the number 8 as the H, the Q, and the Z in the name. having that there, because 8 is so important. God is 8, faith is 8, hope is 8. People believe that the 8 believe to themselves that they're super.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and when I do a reading for an 8, I would say, you don't like bosses. The boss has to know how to deal with you.
You did say that to me too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Listen. Hold your thought. You got some interesting stuff coming at me here. Look, if you're tuned in, watching, call a friend, say join us at subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, Our World Media 1. I'm Clive Williams. This is Love Talk. I'll go on a break, and we'll come right back with more interesting discussions.
You get off the plane and you're like, wow, I'm alive.
You have to breathe because it's breathtaking.
Is the center of the world.
Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens.
They have the Rockaways, the beach, or the Flushing Meadow Park.
Small places that you never think exist.
From there, we'll go up to the Bronx.
Nature. Brooklyn. Got Coney Island. You get to happen upon things.
Yes.
Manhattan never gets outclassed.
Chelsea, Soho. Hay cosas ya de lujo. Es un área bien fancy, ¿me entiendes?
Go to the Empire State Building, go to the top of Rockefeller Center.
Staten Island.
Staten Island, there's something for everybody.
New York City's an awesome place to come with family.
You got things for kids, you got things for adults.
Even like museums have amazing story times.
That's the beauty of this organic city. It creates new flavors of what once was coming from another country.
All of it. Everyone's welcome. The biggest rainbow in the world.
Ελάτε στη Νέα Υόρκη.
Yo le cuento casi todo a mi mamá.
Yo la entendería.
En mi escuela, los papás los dejan hacer todo. Mis padres son estrictos y me quieren proteger.
Puedo entender eso completamente.
Bailando entre dos vidas. El pasado y el futuro.
New York State's largest African American Chamber of Commerce, known as LIAACC, is now accepting new membership candidates. LIAACC has appeared on WABC, Here and Now, NBC's Positively Black, WLIW21, FIOS1, and in Long Island Business News. Membership consists of a variety of men and women of distinction who have been bestowed some of the most prestigious awards in the region. We host monthly membership meetings and signature events, including the Long Island African American Business Expo, Annual Health Fair, Ladies of LIAACC Annual Women's History Month program, and our annual Black History Month art exhibition. Join by simply logging on to our easy new membership sign-up portal at www.liaacc.org.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel.
Kids use music as a way to provide language for their emotions.
Talking about my feelings with my mother, I'm gonna just be quiet. In the back of my head, I'm like, man, this ain't it.
I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
I immigrated to America when I was 20 from a country called Uruguay. I have two careers. I'm in the Army Reserves, and I have a civilian career as an engineer. And I have two wonderful children. Every day is a challenge to make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to be there. You have to be present for them. You have to try to teach them. When they learn something new and it just clicks in their brain, I just realized I could do this. And you can just see in their faces. It's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
Hi, my name is Maya Delgado, and I am the brand ambassador of Kids Breakdown. And this is my demo video. Enjoy!
Download app on Google Play or App Store.
Create account. Choose avatar.
Enter Kids Breakground Roadmap.
Roadmap consists of math, spelling, memorization, and matching mini games.
After each minigame, personality and interest questions will appear to pinpoint which job may suit you best. After completion of all 8 minigames, you will be presented with jobs you may want to learn more about.
Read fun facts about all the different types of jobs within the law, science, and arts career.
Use your gold bricks to make your job environment fully complete.
Go back and play minigames to earn more bricks if needed. I hope you enjoyed the Kids Breakdown demo video. Make sure to download today and share with your friends. This platform will pave the way for kids who are just like me, the groundbreakers of tomorrow.
Welcome back. I'm Clive Williams, and this is Love Talk. I got to make a disclaimer before I go on. It's important that when you watch a show like this, you don't get the impression that the host, the guests, are trying to convince you to a certain way of thinking. We actually want to share information with you. So the disclaimers I have are these. I don't want to make a point. I want to make a difference. I don't intend to lecture you. I want to start a conversation. So with that in mind, we've cleared the path now to have a discussion, to have a conversation. You know, we're going to talk about something that happened. 9/11 was how many years now?
20.
20 years. It's ironic. I can't get my 13-year-old grandson to read as much as I would like him to. But I took him for his first vaccine 2 weeks ago. And while we're waiting in the pharmacy, I said, let's go by the magazine stand, while we're waiting for him to get the vaccine. And so we went to the magazine stand. And I'm saying, which magazine are you interested in? Funny, he picked up the Time magazine, which is the anniversary issue of 9/11. Mm-hmm. And I says, you sure you want to pick that up? It's heavy. He says, I want to know about 9/11.
Really?
Really? Right. Okay. So that was a win. I mean,
definitely
a win-win. First of all, he was interested in picking up a magazine, and he was interested in 9/11. So that's a win-win, because that's, for him, it's history. We lived it, right? And so 9/11 is a very big part of our lives. I mean, it's transformative, right? What happened? There are conspiracy theorists who have all kinds of views. It just so happened that I was in the gym that morning. And do you know who was next to me in that gym?
Who?
We can't have downtime on television, so I won't have you guess. I won't hold you. But
you.
Congressman Meeks.
Really?
Congressman Meeks and myself were in that gym on that morning. We both stood side by side and looked up at the monitor, the television that's in the gym,
right,
and watched the tower.
Was he in Congress at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we just stood there in shock. And we were, hands were on each other's shoulders, wondering if we were looking at some. It seems so surreal, guys. You know, we're wondering: are we watching something that's live? Are we watching something that? What are we watching?
Is this an accident? Is this for real?
Yeah, is this for real?
On purpose?
Yeah. So we sort of. I wanted to, because it's such a profound event. I wanted to sort of pend it onto later, but since we're in it, it just so happens that I know two fathers who lost their sons in 9/11. And you might think that it's an American tragedy. No, it's an international tragedy because these young men, even though they were born here, born of Caribbean parents, and I became so intimately involved in that I happened to have written the submission and the request for one of these fathers to obtain funds, because there was a kind of ombudsman, what do they call it, who was put in charge of the dispensing of the funds for all those who had lost loved ones in 9/11. And at that time, it was such, the shock was reverberating through the community. Everybody was in shock. And one of the men who lost his son came and asked me, because he knows I'm a writer, to write the appeal for his son. And I very diligently did that, and they got their compensation. But who compensates one, for your son? It just so happens that his son and I, our birthdays are pretty close, right on top of each other. And I don't even say to my friend, when my birthday, I don't remind him that it's my birthday, because it's too painful, right? It's too painful. So I have to keep my birthday a kind of secret from him, because the minute I say February, whatever, it's his son's birthday in the Scumberry. They are incredible people, but they've never been the same since. 9/11, I can imagine the devastation, especially for those people who never found not even a dust of their loved ones that were lost. Does that, we're talking about love, right? It must require a tremendous amount of love, compassion, and the very deepest recesses of our mental, psychological parts to absorb that kind of blow. And so to all those who have lost loved ones, who've had friends, family close to them, lost to 9/11, we express our condolences. We express our heartfelt pain, through your suffering and your loss. But Bernard, let me ask you this: 9/11, numerically, what was the numbers that were involved here?
Every day, two numbers rules every day. And so 9/11 is a master number 11, which is communication. And the number 5, look at the words that rule by the number 5. Life rules by the number 5, the number 5. Sensitive is 5. Emotional is 5. Judaism is 5. Language is 5. And power is 5. And all that happened that day. Look at the number 2. Vibration, iron, change, distinction, relationship, and prayers. All that day for the 2 and the 5 day. And by the way, Jesus, the name Jesus is a master number 11. And who is more of a communicator than Jesus? You see, so people, places, and things are ruled by numbers. And so the name of the game, we live in a mathematical world. You see? So I always say that Why beat up yourself and judge yourself when you did not create you? Learn how you are created such that it's easier to balance you. It's going to take a long time, but you'll have fun doing it because you'll know how to control your feelings and your emotions, and nobody could push your buttons because you have better control of yourself.
So, folks, we're talking about reconstruction, right? And seriously, reconstructing means learning some new methods, some new systems, getting away from, if it's not been working for you, it's just not been working. And if you continue to believe that something that's not worked is going to work, then you know what that means. You're unbalanced. So please begin to question us as to what it is that you need to know to begin to make sure that your life, your relationships, your love becomes more real in your lives.
If I could just get back to Bernard for a second, with 9/11, with those numbers and those words that you gave us, that some of them are just so powerful for that day. Is there some significance to this being the 20th anniversary of 9/11? Is there some numerical significance of this?
Yeah, because the 2 is 2, 11 is 2, and 20 is also 2. 2, 11, 20, and 29 is the same 2. You see? And so, and again, we got to go back to the communication. If we had better communication, this wouldn't have happened.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Explain that.
Well, meaning worldwide, because I think one of the biggest problem in the world is that people do not realize this, that man could predict almost everything except 2 things, birth and death, the precise time of birth and death. You see? So it's about the relationship we have. When we meet each other, it's for a purpose. It's what we get from it, good or bad. You see? And so the name of the game is the more people we meet in our life, the better our lives become.
And in fact, you're saying that had we, and I think Bernard is saying, if I'm wrong, correct me, but had we been better communicators as a country, that might have been averted. So this is why the 2 as communication is very important. The 2 comes in again. This is the 20th anniversary. That's a 2. And certainly it's time to reflect and communicate about it. This is what we're doing. And I believe that, and I think I have a lot of people agree with me, that communication, as much as we stress how important it is, we place a number of other things sort of above it. But I think the place for communication is next to everything that we do. Not that it is third in terms of importance. They do these studies, these research studies, that they say on the top of the list is financial problems that breaks up a couple, and then communication comes at about a distant 4th. I think along with finances should be communication. Along with jealousy, there should be communication. Along with every other aspect, communication should play an extension of everything rather than,
If you're traveling to Los Angeles from Kennedy Airport, you get on board the plane and you're sitting beside a passenger. How long before you develop a relationship with, you're not going to fly 5 hours without saying anything. And I'm prepared if I say something to Gail, who is a passenger beside me, and she shunned me, that's okay too.
Yeah.
That is okay. And so you see, if you don't have it in you, then you cannot produce it. And so once we understand what is missing, then we try to put it in. Life becomes much easier.
I have a question. You said earlier, the more people that we come in contact with,
the better our lives become.
The better our lives become. So they become richer. What do you mean by better?
Because it's okay. It's like, for instance, when I walked in, Pauline asked me if I knew someone. Okay, and I knew the person. And so and so that's what I'm talking about. You know, Clive would call me. I said, Bernard, I need A, B, and C. I call Annette. You know, I call Gail. And it comes right back to Clive. But if you don't have the links, you know, it's like putting in serious links in your life, strong links in your life. Take out the weak ones and put in stronger ones.
And I asked that question because I am reminded of what we started with at the top of the hour, which was how do we meet the right people for us, right? So it seems as if we've kind of come full circle here. So we go to these places, we take the classes, we learn sports that we didn't know before.
Yeah.
And by doing the things that Dr. Williams says to do, we meet more people and we increase the number of people in our lives, like you said, which actually enriches us and makes our lives better.
Definitely.
So even if we don't find the soulmate, quote unquote, that we were looking for, we're still richer, according to Bernard. It's going to take me a while to get that.
That's quite all right.
We're still richer for the fact that we have increased the numbers. So does quality matter in there, or is it just quantity, or is there an equal part?
It's an equal part. You see? And so because it's a connection, that is a connection you're making. And that is strengthening your life and who you're talking to or who you're meeting.
I'll tell you something on a practical level. Many years ago, of all the sports I played table tennis, I played tennis, I played cricket, I played soccer, football, you know it. And I played, there's this game that I always watched that I was very interested in, badminton. And I decided to give it a shot. Guess what? I met a whole new set of people. A whole new set of people. And they consisted of ethnic groups that you don't normally interact with on a daily basis, and made new friends, a new horizon, a new opportunity for business, social activities was opened up to me simply by just playing a game. Another experience that I had in my life, played the game of darts. It exposed me to an entirely new, it exposed me to what we call then the expatriate community, right? Because they were the ones who were from England, Australia, other parts of Europe, on the island, who, they play darts. And so by starting to play darts, I met a whole new set of people. Now, were I looking for a mate, then the opportunities would have been there. You know, it's so all I'm saying, folks, to go back to your query, Gail, is just get adventurous, get up and do something different. Not saying don't go to church, but there are other places that you can meet some great people.
But go to the social after church as well, or the bingo, as you said, if they still do that.
Yeah, if they still do that.
Or maybe the bingo hall. I don't know if they have those. Or the casino. There you go.
Hey,
there are certain times you say good morning to a person, and the person may look at you.
So here's...
So follow up on that, Bernard. So is that a good thing, a bad thing? Is that by the numbers? What?
Well, that person that you probably say good morning to, that might have been had a bad start for his or her morning. You know, or some people just can't communicate, don't want to communicate.
You say you can't give it if you don't have it in you, right? I remember you were saying that. Does that mean so many people don't have it in them?
Oh, yeah.
That's very despairing.
Or is it just that we're lazy or not taught to do it?
Well, another thing, this is common. A lot of people forget how to spell their middle name because they did not use it enough.
Yeah. And a lot of people are ashamed of their middle name, so they don't use it at all.
They don't use it at all.
So what is this?
Because they do not understand the powers of the pieces that they're playing with.
So you're talking about chess now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's folks, your name, If nothing else sticks with you, impacts on you, we reflected on 9/11, which I respectfully want us all to remember with reverence. But if nothing else sticks with you, understand that your name, I never, ever allow anyone to tinker with my name. I never allow anyone to call me Clove, Cleve, Clyde. My name is Clive, and I spell it. And here's how I spell it. C, because usually most people get the C. It's kind of hard, L, kind of easy. I, kind of easy. But then I say V as in Victor and E as in Edward. So that last part is not messed up at all. Oh, I've had letters come to me with Olive. No.
Or Clyde, I would think is a popular one, a D instead of the V.
Oh, yeah. But it ticks me off. Should I be upset? Yes. As a matter of fact, teaching a couple classes, I realized that there are folks who are so lazy that when my African students are in the class, American students have a hard time, or they refuse to pronounce the people's names. I get very upset at that. They are shortening people's names for them. That's so very disrespectful. A person's name is something. Ask them. If you don't understand, ask them, could you spell your name?
So instead of Babatindu, we'll just call you Bob.
Yeah, right. Right. We just call you Bob. Okay? That's so disrespectful. I mean, really, this is a person's name is so critical. It's their mentality, right, Bernard?
Definitely.
So one last question, but what if your name is Babatunde and no disrespect, but what if you say, but I prefer John? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I think what's important is what you sign. That has a great deal to do with it. The name that you assign, or what's on your papers.
Yeah.
Your passport. That's what's important.
Your birth certificate.
Your birth certificate. That type of stuff. On my, like I said, I have 7 names. So it's a lot, but it's easier to tone down
right
than to put in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. When the food is finished, you can't put the ingredients that you miss.
Yeah. It's already gone.
It's already gone. It's fascinating when you understand the world that we are living in, because we live in cycles. There's a science that is called biorhythms. That predicts every day of your life what that day is going to be like for you. The ups, the downs, the critical times of that day, and so you'll know tomorrow is not a day to do any hard work because the physical is down or the mental is up, and so it's all science.
My friends, I can't thank you enough, and I can't get enough of your wisdom, Bernard. I can't get enough, Gail, of your deep thought and reflection. And I just want to I hope you're watching out there that you are deriving something from this. Please let us know. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Our World Media, the number 1. You can follow us on Instagram at Our World Media. Before I go, let me read some thoughts that you might reflect on. Let me remind you that you're a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you consider him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace within your soul. I'm Clive Williams. This is Love Talk. We catch you next week.
There's a hereditary. Is that what's the name of it? There's a